The bushwhacks were some of the worst days I've ever had in the mountains, or life, really.
Whereas Panther Mountain is totally opposite. It's a mountain on top of a crater.
I think the weather challenges on this incident were particularly difficult.
It was really the development of New York State. Catskills were responsible.
Now you're listening to Inside the Line, the Catskill Mountains podcast.
Oh, it works. So, episode 192. We are here again, ripping it up. And tonight, we are here as we're guests. You and I, me and you. We're guests. We're our own guests.
We're guests on our own show.
That's right.
Weird. Who's going to do the interview? Who's going to ask the questions? We're just going to sit here. It's going to be like a long silence. Is that how we're doing this? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, people should have some quiet time on their way to the mountains.
Mountains, or, when they're mowing the lawn, stuff like that. Yeah. So 192 tonight, we're going to talk about some Halloween stuff. Ooh. Spookiest places in the Catskills that you can go visit while hiking. And then there is a kind of spooky, mystery that Tad found earlier that we're going to chat about. So, spooky stuff, Halloween stuff. Next week is Eric Schlimmer, freaking insane hiker guy. He's going to be on here. So, we decided to use this week as our Halloween week. So, with that being said, speaking of Halloween and freaking out and shit like that, I pulled 2 more freaking ticks off of me today.
We don't want to know where they were.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
You can tell us you pulled ticks off. Just don't disclose the location.
Didn't crack open the beer, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Well, when you said crack, you kind of had me lurch back with that.
Yeah, dude. Today I just played some disc golf out in what above Coalskill. And I went and took a shower, and I found one on me. It was actually in the skin a little bit, so I had to pull it out. And then I see another one, and I had to pull it out. So, like you said, your advice, I immediately contacted my doctor, and they're going to do the prescription of amoxicillin. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Doxy.
Yeah. So I was like, Jesus, out of, the last 10 years of hiking, I've had 1 tick on me in the last month and a half. There's been 3.
Yeah. So now we need to know, are you using any spray or tick repellents?
Permethrin.
Okay. Are you just on your clothes? On your skin? How are you using this permethrin?
No skin. I do spray it on my clothes. It was on my pants.
When's the last time you applied it?
I would have to say 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, maybe with washing, sweating, etc., it's no longer deterring the tick activity.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't like the Lyme disease thing. So it's fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I've encountered many people that suffer for a long time, and then somebody's like, "Oh, by the way, you ought to test yourself for Lyme," and they do, and it's like that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see if I can't poop again. That's kind of what the whole story.
Oh, please! Oh my God! Oh,
that'll be it.
Talk about haunted, spooky shows.
Yeah, indefinitely.
Gross.
So once again, it's the cooler season is coming, but still, those ticks are out there. Those ticks are wanting to latch onto you. They're trying to find something that's warm and freaking cuddly, and it's ridiculous. So aggressive actions must be taken. We need to spray they like they did back in the old days with the bald eagles. What was that stuff that they sprayed?
DDT.
Yeah.
Right? DDT.
Yeah, we'll do that with
Got
freaking all
that.
these
Yeah.
ticks. Get those out of
Yeah.
there.
I got to say, other than, catching a couple climbing up my leg, I haven't had any all year long.
All year, but how many in the past? Like if you've, when was
Oh,
the
yeah,
last time you had something lashed?
The last one I remember being latched on was the one that I found in my beard.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. It was totally gross, man.
I would have freaked out at that one. That would
Yeah,
have been.
it was kind of like high alert. What the fuck,
Yeah.
And within an hour, I was like, with the pharmacy getting a bottle. But back then, I think it was more than just like 2 days worth.
We'll see what this new doctor. So I got the one with urgent care gave me 2 days worth. My primary I contacted this time, as of your I would say your request, your advice. I contacted my primary, so we'll see what he gives me. He's a cool dude. He likes.
Yeah.
So. All right, back. Let's get out of that stuff. So let's get into some more crazy news. So Whiteface Mountain, New York ski resort, owned by the New York State, faces environmental violations ahead of the new ski season. So the Olympic Regional Development Authority has been charged with environmental violations by New York DEC following the October Union Cycle International World Cup mountain bike races at Whiteface Mountain. So apparently, some of the construction crew did unauthorized tree removal at the Adirondack Forest Preserve, which is protected as forever wild under Article 14 of the New York State Constitution. The DEC found that ORDA, which is once again the Olympic Regional Development Authority, conducted construction activities without the required work permit or written approval. And it was unauthorized disturbance of approximately 0.26 acres, including cutting at least 34 trees from 5 to 12 inches in diameter. Construction of the new trail section widening the existing trails beyond pre-approved limits in the violation of the Adirondack State Park Land Master Plan. Unused or use of mechanized equipment for excavation, grading, and clearing outside of authorized boundaries. So a bunch of unauthorized stuff going on. They seized work. They told the DEC ordered them to seize work, and they need to get a detailed corrective action and restoration plan by November 7th, 2025. And this must include all dates, staff assignments, stuff going on that they did, mapping of all footprints, and making sure that no other violation concerned. As we go on, they will remain open for the 2025-26 season on November 28th, and is also expanding stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And I've heard this has happened before. And I posted this on Instagram and Facebook, and one of the persons said this happened up on Jay Peak in Vermont, and they did illegal cutting, but they found out that it was much easier to pay the fines of illegal cutting than it was to get a permit and pay for the permit and wait for the permit and then pay for this and that and this and that and other thing. So I wonder if this is going to be the same. I don't know if Vermont's the same as New York State with their laws. I know they're not. It's not live free or die hard up there. But, Ted, you being a skier and stuff like that, have you seen this kind of happen before in the previous times?
I don't remember seeing any reports where a ski area operator or somebody hired by them has gone and cut down trees and graded areas that they were supposed to stay away from. I just find it interesting that it's one quasi-state agency, the Olympic Development Authority, and another state agency, the DEC, that are going after each other. So, how do you really fine the Olympic Authority? What's the point of fining them?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, they're separately funded and bonding, and they're not like the DEC in terms of their revenue sources. But on the other hand, it's really, an agency that's supposed to benefit everybody in the state, or skiers in the state and mountain bikers in the state. And what's the point of fining them? The damage has been done. And like you said, They probably made a calculated decision with the deadline for this race coming up and wanting to do this, that, and the other thing. They thought, let's go ahead, cut some trees. And
that's not a small amount of trees. Like, I mean, come to like not like going through the procedures and stuff, 34 trees isn't like cutting 3 trees, 5 trees to make a trail a little bit.
But I mean, look at, I don't know how long this particular trail is, but let's say it's a mile long. That's a tree, every 20, 50 feet.
True.
And there's presumably a lot of other trees. We can call it a selective thinning. I mean, there's a lot of ways to kind of minimize it, but they shouldn't have done it. They did it. And now what are they going to do? Fine the people of the state of New York for this? I don't know. Right? There's something I think that's more worthwhile going after if you have the time to do something like this, and you look at how they talk about, they're going to go into like some whole big study about the remediation and yada, yada, yada. Why don't you take all the man hours that you're going to spend on that and spend it on going after people that throw couches and tires and other large objects like that out along the roadside, parking areas, dead ends, people that just use these wilderness areas as their personal dump. Let's go after them.
But the thing is with that, Tad, is the people that they do find with that won't be able to pay that in such sort. They're poor, they're stuff like that.
No, then sentence them to community service. If you throw your couch out along Route 28A and you get caught, then you need to do 40 hours of roadside cleanup with a stick with the nail on it and an orange, garbage bag, picking up roadside trash. 40 hours, or you can pay the fine, or buy us a hard cider.
That's
three options, right?
The New York State doesn't want that. They want money. So this Orda owns Bel Air, correct?
I think whether it's a lease or something, I don't think they actually own it per se, but yes, they operate Bel Air.
It was
operated by DEC up until 5, 6, 7 years ago, and then they decided, why have the DEC operating a ski area and the Olympic Authority operating 2 ski areas? Let's just have Olympic Authority take over.
So who owns Gore?
Gore is, again, run by the Olympic Authority.
Okay, so Gore, Whiteface, and Bel Air are all run by Olympic Authority, which are hired by New York State, correct?
Well, it's a quasi-state agency.
Okay.
I'm going to say it that way. It's not like it's a independent, privately owned company. In the end of the analysis, it's owned by the state of New York. It's just set up as a quasi-state agency, presumably for the purpose of bonding and financing. And I would also assume to avoid like the state being liable for somebody being decapitated when they go off the trail and they hit some fucking old growth tree that should have been cut down 2 years ago.
Jesus. Nice. Good way to say it, actually. That was freaking fantastic. Once again, or they cut a 5 to 12 inch diameter tree that's illegally cut in a certain way and they get speared in the fucking tree.
Don't be ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The people that cut these trees are trained professionals.
True.
They don't injure themselves like that, at least.
So I'm just it just makes me wonder a lot of things, like how does, once again, you go through this and stuff like that, like you're with the state, you're working for the state, so why do this? Like,
well, my bitch is, this is a ski area, and if you need to make these trails wider and straighter to have a mountain bike race, have the mountain bike race someplace else. Okay, I haven't skied at Whiteface for decades, but I sort of grew up skiing at Whiteface, and it had those classic narrow, windy East Coast trails. And to make them wider and straighten them out, I'm not a fan of that. Particularly, look, I'm a former mountain bike racer. I'm pro mountain bike racing, but don't change the ski area. Leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I didn't look at the map to see where the mountain like biking was going on the map. But I know Gore stretches pretty good, or Whiteface stretches pretty good, going up to like 4,600 feet. I'm not sure what the base is. So they have a lot of ski trail. So I'm not sure of where this was done and stuff like that on the mountain biking trail. But it is very interesting to hear about, because once again, like a lot of people think that, I wouldn't say they think that the DEC owns Whiteface, Gore, and Bel Air, but it's not actually like that. So they can do this, and then like you said, just one agency going after another agency, so now these people probably are going to get put into the equations of thousands of dollars that they're going to be charged. Will the prices go up of their ski lift tickets now?
No, I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the bigger influence on ski ticket prices is how much snow they need to blow.
True. We don't know the weather yet.
Yeah, I used to ski for $5 a day.
Oh, God damn. And now what is it? Fucking hundreds?
It could be a couple hundred.
Good Lord. No, times inflation, man. These freaking, I used to get a house for $5,000. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. So that is the reason.
Now you'll pay that for a tent.
Yeah, right?
So,
Jesus.
yeah, one day lift ticket for last season at Whiteface was $134.
Oh, I thought it would be a little bit more than that, but.
Yeah. Well, that's presumably because it's New York State.
Yeah. Interesting. So, yeah.
Let's just look at Vail, Colorado.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, even Wyndham. What is Wyndham?
Wyndham can't be that much, but season pass, buyer pass. Oh, adult. Really? Is this a single day ticket?
What?
No way. Choose your days. One day. Oh, it's if you're skiing a peak day, I'm seeing it's $319 to ski at Vail for one day.
That's double the price.
Yeah, 4 days, $1,276. When I was in college, I used to get the Summit County season pass, $250.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah, quite a bargain.
Yeah, that's crazy to hear the prices now. When you don't have snow, when you freaking have snow, we all got to make the snow here.
Yeah, we used to have great snow back then.
Yeah.
Problem was, you'd look out and you'd see that guy Noah in his ark. I mean, that's how long ago it was, but so.
All right. So this recent hiking bloopers, is this all is the bloopers the stuff that's happened in the Catskills in the past?
Yeah, I took a selection of things that happened in or around the Catskills. One of them's on the east side of the Hudson. And I tried to stay away from Adirondack-based activity because we had a lot going on in the Catskills, believe it or not.
True. Do you want me to go over this? We're going to go back and forth?
You can do it. You
right.
can do it. Because I'm going to do some of this spooky stuff later on.
Nice.
So I'm going to start burning my sage now.
Having a little ding, 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 ding. All right, so Tanis Shandaken, we had a wilderness rescue on October 2nd, 11:45 a.m. Ulster County 911 received a call from a hiking party reporting one hiker persistently vomiting at the summit of Wittenberg Mountain. 4 rangers and EMS met the 17-year-old on the trail, assessed the hiker's condition, provided nourishment, and escorted them 1 mile to the trailhead. The hiker refused further medical treatment. Resources were clear at 3 p.m. So they must have met them 3/4 of the way down?
Yeah, I'm assuming that the hiking party was on its way down after the call was made, because they report that the guy was vomiting at the summit, maybe because the fall colors weren't as vibrant as he was expecting.
This is ridiculous. This is why I go to the Catskill or Adirondacks.
Yeah, right. And so, and then 1 mile from the trailhead, they meet up with him.
That's the easy stuff.
Yeah, that's got to be awful, though, throwing up. So I guess my take is, if it hadn't rained since the 2nd, just be careful what you touch going up Wittenberg.
True, yeah.
Somebody's vomit.
True. That and then just all the moss in the water. And I've never had that problem. What is that called when you get the water sickens you? Oh,
Not sure.
I forgot what they give that name, but once you get to like the
swampy water syndrome.
swamp ass. Yeah. So that happened up on Wittenberg. Next day, town of Wyndham, Raybrook Dispatch received a call reporting a hiker with severe cramping who could not continue down the summit of Black Dome. Forest Ranger Fox and Peterson hiked to the subject and provide electrolytes and food after some rest and rehydration. The 29-year-old from New Jersey was able to walk again. Rangers assisted the subject to the Big Hollow Road trailhead, and resources were clear at 9 p.m. So once again, they were called at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. and then clear at 9 p.m. So it's 5-hour rescue, essentially. So that's pretty. Once again, that's pretty crazy to hear.
Yeah,
5 hours when you're severe cramping, and then once again, like it takes you. And this was on a Friday, so it's a little bit odd.
Yeah.
So cramping, stuff like that, people just, it seems like the electrolytes in the water are not getting into their head. So, yeah. So, next, Pleasant Valley, Dutchess County. So this is a little bit out of the way. So Dutchess County 911 requested Forest Ranger assistance with a hiker vomiting excessively from alcohol consumption at Taconic, Hereford multiple use area. Rangers Russo responded with Pleasant Valley Fire and EMS. They located the subject at a campsite with 3 other individuals and transported the patient to an ambulance in the parking area. Resources were clear at 12 p.m. So that was a 2-hour rescue, but the hiker was vomiting excessively from alcohol consumption. Sounds like a common day for me.
Yeah. But notice that the call came in at 10 o'clock a.m. Right?
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Yeah. Right. So was he up all night? Were they
drinking?
Yeah. When did the drinking start? Did the drinking start at sundown, midnight? How long did this go on for before
Sunrise?
The excessive vomiting from alcohol consumption? Does that imply that a modest amount of vomiting from alcohol consumption is okay to be expected? We better watch out tonight. Cover the microphones with plastic in case we start vomiting when we have a beer or two.
It's funny, you're right, excessively. And all these people in the 70s and 80s that were hiking with beer, and like we talked with Rick last time, with beer in their backpacks, a 6-pack, and they were just like, we down that shit at the summit and then walk down. We'd vomit. Well, who cares? We still completed North Dome.
It was like the perfect energy food.
And
that way, if you hurt your ankle on the way down the hike, you didn't give a fuck. You just kept hiking because you were that inebriated.
Exactly. So, and this was on the Taconic Trail. So we're talking about, not as steep as the Catskills, but at some areas could be somewhat steep and stuff like that. So,
plus, I don't think there's really anywhere over there that you're that far from a road.
Oh yeah. I know the maps. I've researched the maps over there because I've always wanted to go over there. Taconics looks absolutely awesome. It's like a ridge walk the whole time. You get views here and there. It's just very pleasant, and they have like very good trees up there. They don't have the pitch pines, but they have the low trees. So that's my kind of stuff. I love that. I love kind of like walking. It's like almost like the escarpment.
Yeah, I did that last summer. It was okay. This time of year, I think it would be better in the fall, and I think it would be really, really pleasant in the winter time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Particularly with backcountry skis on, you could just, ski on that rolly terrain. It would seem to be fun.
Yeah. Well, looks like we gotta do something. God, always. There's not enough time. Fucking A. Sorry. I'm a little edgy. So also Village of Hancock, Delaware. So Hancock more towards the west, over towards Walton, stuff like that. On October 4th, the next day, 7:50 p.m., Delaware County requested Forest Ranger assistance in the search for a 90-year-old with early signs of dementia. The subject was last seen at 3 p.m. Rangers joined the search crews from Delaware County Sheriff's Office, the Delaware County Tech Team, New York DEC Environmental Protection, and the Cooks Falls, Downsville, East Branch, Hancock, Roscoe, Rockland, and the Trout Creek Fire Departments. Got a lot of involvement. At 9 a.m., the search group found the subject in a ravine in Drybrook Ridge Road. The subject was conscious and alert, but dehydrated. This sounds, Drybrook Ridge Road, this sounds very familiar to a search that I was involved in over 10 years ago down in the, I wouldn't say the same area, but I think that Drybrook Ridge Road, is that a little off or am I not? That's Hancock doesn't have Drybrook Ridge Road.
Well, there could be multiple places named Drybrook.
True.
You know, it's almost like Main Street. Every place seems to have a Drybrook.
Okay. Yeah. So like back in the days, back in like I think it was like 2015 when I first started hiking, they had a missing guy with dementia up on the Drybrook Ridge area over in, they suspected down in the Balsam Lake area. And they had search crews for 3 days. The guy had dementia. He does his usual walk of like 3 miles and then comes back. Didn't come back. It was hours. So they got search parties from everywhere. And this was like my first search I wasn't even search and rescue at this time. I was just a volunteer. Waited at the firehouse. That's when I got to meet Jim Boughton. I got to hike with Jim Boughton for continuous amounts of miles along the Esopus coming down from the Panther area. And he was just mentioning every time, he's like, now I understand why the Goulds want to protect us, because it's just absolutely stunning stuff.
You were on the Esopus?
Or not what am I?
The beaver, how about the beaver kill?
No. Wait a minute. Hold on. Was it no.
Do you even know where the Catskills are?
I don't. I'm having a brain fart. Tick bites killed me, man.
Yeah. Your whole face is
it's just Drybrook.
Bullseye rash.
I'm sorry. It's just Drybrook. I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were along the edge more of that area. And, we were just chatting and stuff like that, looking for the guy, searching everywhere. And the same thing happened the next day. We were ready to go out and they found him, the caretaker of Double Top and Graham. What was his name at the time? This was 10 years ago.
It was Bill something.
Yeah, Bill. Oh my God. Yeah. So he found him with his shoes off, with his feet in the water. And he was like, hey, guy, like, can I help you? And the guy was just like, oh, just going out for my evening stroll. And he's like, is your name, this? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, you've been missing for 3 days now. Like, and the guy was just had no clue. And they found him alive and well. And it feels like this is the same thing. I mean, 7:50 p.m. to 9 a.m., that's over 12 hours.
Yeah.
Of searching.
I actually, years ago, I think May or June of 2020, I bushwhacked a big Indian from the Drybrook and ran into the search lines up there, twine that had been strung from tree to tree to make.
They'll have those?
Yeah.
Yikes. Talk about leave no trace.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Look at this guy. He was last seen at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. They found him at 9 a.m. in the morning. So that's 15 hours. Am I right on that? 18 hours. 18 hours.
I think that's only 14 hours.
No.
Yeah, 7 to 7 is 12, and then add 2 is 14.
Yeah. Well, so I got early onset dementia. So I don't even know what I'm doing tonight.
Yes, but
isn't Tuesday night my bowling league night? What's going on?
Right. Here? Same. So, I'm getting there.
Yeah. But that's quite a while to be out, and overnight in October can get cool out there. So I wonder if this 90-year-old guy is still going for his walks.
Yeah, probably going for the all trails patch. That's what happened.
Yeah,
he got a little disoriented with the nose, like no signs on the trail markers, stuff like that. No trail markers, and he just got disoriented and got off trail. So
yeah.
So also, this is we talked about this. I think it was last episode that when I was coming back from Black Dome or Blackhead, I saw the forest rangers and now we got a report. So in the town of Wyndham on October 5th at 1:15 p.m., Forest Rangers Comfort, Fox, and Petersman responded to a call for a hiker with an ankle injury on the escarpment trail. An off-duty EMT who was hiking in the area provided medical care before Rangers arrived. At 3:45 p.m., Rangers met the 83-year-old from Massachusetts on the Elm Ridge lean-to and provided first aid. Hensonville Fire Department transported the patient from the lean-to the Peck Road trailhead where the hiker was checked out by Wyndham Ambulance. Resources were clear at 4:45. Oh yeah, so that I guess that was. I'm glad they didn't call me up there because I didn't need the help. I could have ran up there faster than all of them.
Yeah. So the rest of the ranger reports were predominantly fires.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, as you said,
fires.
So you put in this. So thank you, Ted, once again for doing this research. 2025 year to date, July 1st. As of July 1st, Rangers have conducted 139 search and rescue missions, extinguished 82 fires. So almost like half of that is their stuff, and covering nearly 705 acres. And 56 prescribed fires that rejuvenated 1,500 acres of land to date. So once again, 82 wildfires covering nearly 705 acres this year. So last year we had the 5,000 acre and the 600 acre fire. So that would have been crazy to think about this year.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time left in what we can call fire season.
True. Has it been raining down there?
Yeah, we had. I'll say even on Saturday there was a light drizzle in the afternoon, and then I think it rained Saturday night as well as Sunday night up in the Catskills.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of reports. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah. We have water, so as of right now, so yeah, that's what we got for shooting the shit. A lot of stuff happening in New York State. We like to keep it New York State. Haven't heard anything about Killian Jornet coming over to the podcast. I reached out to him and said, "Hey, you want to make millions of dollars? Come on and join us on this podcast. I can give you maybe a free sticker." Nothing. Disappointed.
Well, I'm sure he'll be over here because he'll want to see how quickly he can do the 3,500.
Jesus, just imagine.
Yeah.
What did Mike do that in? Mike Sudi, and then there was Philip Vondra did it in like 3 days.
I don't know. I didn't know Mike Sudi was like a record holder on that.
He was he was the second record holder. There's first record holder was the Dog Man. I was going to get him on the show, but we lost contact with each other. And then Mike Sudi and then Philip Vondra did the Winter 35. So
yeah, here it says Mike Sudi, the 144-mile journey in 2 days, 9 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
2 days.
Incredible. Yeah. Jesus. It almost seemed like on Saturday it took us that long to do the 6.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tired, and he freaking did it in hours. Crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he beat the prior record by about 6 hours.
Which was like the Nate Dogman or something like that.
Yeah,
I forget.
Ted Cave Dog.
Cave Dog.
Kreitzer. How come I don't have a name like that? I want you to start calling me Cave Dog.
Cave Dog.
Yeah. Or Podcast Dog.
Tadman.
Yeah.
I like Tadman.
No, I want something that sounds more like, I'm a pro wrestler. Down the trail, I'm going to body slam you.
Nice. You got to play your theme music then.
Yeah.
All right. So excellent. Good shooting the shit. So once again, thank you to the monthly supporters, Bob McLinn, Chris Garabian, Jeff Jotz, Vicky Ferrero, Mikey S., John Comiskey, Summit Seekers, Desert City Radio, Betsy A., Denise W., Vanessa, Jim C., and Eric. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Really appreciate it. Glad you believe in the show. Also, the people that believe in the show are awesome sponsors like Outdoor Chronicles Photography. Capture your love story against breathtaking backdrops with Outdoor Chronicles Photography. Molly specializes in adventure couple photography, and she'll immortalize your moments amidst the stunning landscapes of the Catskills, Adirondacks, and White Mountains. She'll craft timeless images that reflect unique bond in nature's grandeur. Embark on an unforgettable photographic journey with Outdoor Chronicles Photography. Don't hesitate to get a hold of Molly on all platforms. Also, if you want to discover the wilderness more, you can do it with Trail Brown Project. Our expert-led hiking and backpacking education program offer unparalleled outdoor experiences. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned adventurer, join us to learn essential skills, explore stunning trails, and connect with nature. Start your journey today with Trail Brown Project and unlock the wonders of the great outdoors. So the big question is, are you really outdoors? If you mention the podcast in one of your hikes through social media, we'll chat about it in the show, and it actually counts. Tag us by typing at ITL Catskill MTM Podcast on your social media post. So I got to admit, this guy should, I think Scott's going to be coming on the show sometime soon because this is absolutely insane. I was following him and he's been tagging us in the show. Scott has been killing it. Catskill Mountain Brew was in the Adirondacks. He did Wright, Algonquin, Iroquois, Marshall, did through Avalanche Lakes, and then did Cascade and Porter, and then came down and did Panther in the Catskills. This was all within a week, I believe. Unbelievable stuff. Beautiful weather. He actually said that up in the Adirondacks that he had to have spikes and that he was ready for the winter weather, and he actually got the winter weather. That they had ice, they had above the tree line was freezing cold and stuff like that. So, Scott, thank you for tagging us. It's just amazing to see your beautiful pictures and stuff. Did you see all his stuff?
Yeah, I'm checking it out again right now. Great shots. Looks like he had some decent weather, a lot of clouds, but he's got Algonquin, 5,114 feet with ice. More ice is more fun.
You sure about that?
Yeah, some cool shots there.
Ice is cool, but it's not at times. Sometimes it's not fun.
Well, as long as you're prepared.
Sure.
That's a big factor. You see some people head out, they don't have spikes with them, and they still try to make progress, and you feel for him because it's dangerous. But yeah, he's got some at higher elevation. It's all frozen and iced up. So that first photo he's got of Algonquin is sweet.
Yeah, just he was out and about, freaking rocking it, killing it. I'm not sure what he's up to in his Adirondack peaks, but I think it was like 11.
Yeah. Well, here's one I see he posted 6 days ago, whiteface, and one of the shots, it looks like he's got a chainsaw standing next to a mountain bike on a trail. I'm just kidding.
This looks like something for AI to do. I got to do it.
Yeah.
So the one of his hikes he did, Marshall, something like that. He did 18 miles total day and 5,500 feet of elevation gain. I'm not sure. I only think it was like, once again, we talked about this before, like 2 mountains. Like, I don't want to do 18 miles and 2 mountains.
Yeah. I look at my age, my joints start really acting up anywhere between 12 and 15 miles. But when you're able to do, days that approach 20 and you can go over 20 miles a day, then do it while you can.
Yeah. Rip it up.
Because at some point you're going to be 90 years old and spending the night in the woods because you just forgot what you're doing, and somebody's going to have to call the DEC to come out and rescue you. So get all those long days in while you can. True.
Agreed. So also Daniel Passes was up at Wyndham High Peak, rocking it. Did pretty good. Nailed it. Redhead Adventure Guides Mike went on to Red Hill and Balsam Lake Mountain. Mike is also one of the stewards up at Balsam Lake Mountain. Met him one time. Fantastic steward. He loved what he did. So yeah, and also he had a post of where there was a black bear in his backyard just gnawing on some glass, which I envy, and I was looking this whole time when I was out today, just looking for some black bears. I kind of wish there was some, but they got lucky. So Pink Pony Tracy was at the Ashokan Reservoir after a volunteer appreciation party for the stewards of the 3500 Club. Once again, thank you, Tracy, for doing all that you're volunteering is kicking ass, and everybody who volunteered for the 3500 Club this year for the Trailhead Stewards. So awesome job. Tad, I feel embarrassed. I didn't schedule anything. I'm sorry.
You didn't schedule anything?
Yeah, we should have scheduled something. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was me. I had a busy year. This year. It's a little fucking busy. So, but anyway, back to the positive stuff, Tracy and every volunteers. Thank you very much for doing what you do. You made a difference in the Catskills. Also, Jim C did the Trail Wagger race at Gilbert Lake and came in freaking second place. So
wow. I saw that when he posted that. That was impressive.
Trail Wagger race was also, I think you run with a dog, or you can run with a dog, or walk with a dog. So,
or you get chased by a dog. I got chased by a dog this morning riding my bike. It doesn't happen that much anymore because everybody seems to have those electronic fences. So Fido doesn't come running after you, but this dog, yeah, he got up to like 16.7 miles an hour alongside me. Yeah, I was caught off guard because I thought he was going to stop at the end of the driveway. No, and he just kept coming. It was like really exciting for him. Not so much for me.
So you're correct. Jim probably got second place because a dog was chasing after him. He got up to 16 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Good job, Jim. Fantastic. Also, Vicky F, 49. So Vicky Ferreira, one of the sponsors and supporters of the show. Hike Gertrude's Nose with Miles for Hope fundraiser. So that's a breast cancer awareness club. Vicky, let us know about that, the fundraiser and stuff like that, and we can share your stuff and maybe hopefully get some people to help fundraise for that, because that's a big deal. Breast cancer awareness, any cancer awareness is definitely a big deal. So thank you, Vicky, for your volunteering. Once again, you do an amazing job with also Hiker Goddesses as well. So good job, Vicky. Thank you, everybody who tagged us on the show. Really appreciate it. Once again, it's starting to get the different weather. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So prepare. Jesus. Also, you think we're doing a good job and you want to show us some support, buy us a coffee /hard cider on buymeacoffee.com. Your donation will go into the show, and then whatever we don't use for the show will go back into the Catskills. Ted, I'm getting ready to look for a donation, so I have a pretty good idea of who we're going to donate to. So it's going to be great. Rate the show. What do you think? Oh, he's popping it.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm getting.
Oh. God damn. That's cool.
Couldn't wait.
I'm going to enhance that by 50 because the rattle at the end, that was nice. That caught everything.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah. All right. So rate the show, 5 stars only. Once again, do it because someone didn't understand that we were totally against hunting in that one area and not hunting overall. I've had hunters on here all the time. So whatever. 5 stars. Just do it.
We're gonna hunt that guy down.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Make him change his rating. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Let me know if you were that person that did that rating. We'll talk.
Yeah. He really gave us a low rating because of that.
Yeah, because he said we were against hunting, and he didn't understand we were against hunting in that particular area because of the high velocity of hikers that happen in that area.
Yeah, he should change his rating.
Yeah. So, also, Ted, you suggest a guest? Anybody want to suggest a guest? Like, you thinking about suggesting somebody for a good topic, a good, chat about the Catskills? Let us know.
I've got an idea. We should float another survey where listeners can pitch questions to us.
Ooh.
And then one night we can just do like a grab bag of survey questions from listeners. And they can also suggest guests as well. But maybe we can combine the survey and listener generated questions with maybe a little fundraiser to participate. You got to throw in some money that we're going to give to like a designated charity, whether it's the Rangers Foundation or something else.
Sounds like a good idea. We'll think of something. I wrote that down. Let's
Yeah.
check that out. Good idea. We'll get a poll going and stuff like that, and then we'll maybe save maybe once a month we'll have an open spot just for you and me to talk, and maybe talk with a suggested guest, or maybe like you said, if we get a lot of questions, maybe we can do a lot of good answers and a lot of long answers.
Yeah. Or I can, plug my electric guitar in. You can plug yours in. We'll just have a jam session once a month.
It'll be such a different jam band. Freaking fast metal with what do you got? Like Deep Purple?
Yeah. It'll be for those long ride home, after hiking when you need something to stay awake.
Ooh.
Just play episode 199 when, we go nuts with some electric guitar music.
Nice. So what did you just pop?
So I had one of these a few weeks ago, but I thought I'd pull one out again tonight. It's a Bell's Porter, dark beer. And because we're going to the dark side tonight, I thought, what better night to have a dark beer? So again, a Bell's Robust Porter from Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan.
Nice.
So you want me to give you a countdown to your
Sure.
crack? 3, 2, 1.
Beautiful.
That was pro quality. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Well done, Ted. Well done. All right, let me get this. All right. Nice. Back sounding like normal.
Yes.
So I'm going with a good old Hudson North toasted pumpkin hard cider.
How's it taste? Like
Delicious.
a toasted pumpkin? What's a toasted pumpkin taste like? Do they make toasted pumpkin pie?
Have you ever had toasted pumpkin seeds?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's kind of what it tastes like. I know nobody eats that anymore. That's that's really weird. Only the old timers eat it like us.
Yeah. Back in the Depression, that's what you would have.
Toasted pumpkins to keep us healthy. Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Grandma would make them for you.
Correct. So previous hikes, Tad, you had a great previous hike this weekend. Let us know what you did.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I was asked to help some folks do the Catskill 6, which is Friday, Balsam Cap, Rocky, Lone, Table, and Piccamoose. It's about 11.5 miles, just shy of 4,000 vertical feet of climbing. It's the people were part of a hiking group out of Connecticut called the Cloud Steppers. So I let them pick the start time. Initially, they wanted to start at 6 a.m., which I thought was pretty early, but then I also took that as a sign that they were going to be slow hikers and that they were taking that into account. So I said I'd hook up with you at 6:30 at the Piccamoose parking lot. I had never been to the new Piccamoose parking lot before. It's very large. I can't imagine that filling up with cars with an average of 3 to 6 people, because some of these cars are presumably vans with families. So when you have that many people there on a Saturday or a Sunday mainly going to the water, that seems like a lot of people to have over there. What I didn't realize is, notwithstanding that they have this new parking lot, there's still parking along the road at the old parking area. They just have a bunch of Jersey barriers there that are pushed back, though, and you can still fit in maybe 8 cars. So I told the folks, let's drop a couple cars there, so when we're done with this hike, you don't have to bitch and moan for a half-mile hike back to your car in the new parking lot. And then we made our way over to Moon Hall Road. We hiked the 6 via the traditional way. As I expected, the hike from Moon Hall Road up to Friday was very tiring, it seemed, for a number of these people. But I give them credit because, notwithstanding I gave them the option to bail at Balsam Cap, they said that they could grind it out, and they did grind it out, and they all had fun. They took plenty of photos. We got over to Rocky, and we saw the remnants of the fire over there.
Wow.
It's pretty sad when you think about it. I'm going to say it's a pretty sizable area of that summit area around or just to the east of the canister. That looks like the DEC had to get rid of a lot of the sod. The first couple inches, 3-4 inches of it, they cut down 3 trees there. Looks like it was a lot of work. And then, as I understand, they brought in some helicopters and dumped some water there. So nonetheless, our group continued on. We eventually made the trail on Table. And as I have seen before, that's when the group breaks up. You get to the trail, the faster people take off, the slower people, take their time and saunter down. So, without really, at least for me, I kind of hung back for a while, and then I hit the gas and motored ahead and, kind of like walk through half of the group. But it's a fun hike. I'm also, as we crossed, or as we were coming up Lone, it started just to lightly drizzle, kind of light enough where you were thinking about covering your backpack, but you're like, I don't think I have to. So I never did. But I was prepared in the event that it happened. I had a hard shell with me. I had a puffy jacket in case it got cold, but it was fun. Can't tell you how many times I've done the 6, more than I can count.
Nice. How many people?
Including me, 10.
Nice. Oh, wow. Congratulations. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the whole, isn't it just crazy how basically the Blue Hole has become almost like Catskill Falls-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a shame that the DEC is, I'm going to say, caving in to that demand, as opposed to being more restrictive. A lot of that vegetation that was over there has been trampled on, beaten down. The whole area is transformed. And it seems to be that the primary focus and takeaway is that this is a swimming hole.
Right.
A swimming hole and picnic area. Okay. As opposed to, if you just, there was one fellow there, he was there before anyone else, parked alongside of the road. I talked to him quickly, and he wasn't coming up to hike. He was just coming up to hang out by the river when the sun rose and take some photos, just to chill. And I think that's an important thing to take stock of, is that for some people, getting into nature and connecting with it is something as simple as just sitting down on a rock along a babbling river and listening to the sounds around you. But you can't do that at that spot in the summer on a weekend day.
True.
Because it's overtaken by people who really are just into a place to go swimming. So this is where I say, and I've said it before, the DEC could make some fake swimming area along Route 28. They kind of have it at that Bel Air Beach, but they can make a few other places, like with fake rocks to do some rock diving into the water, but with real picnic tables and grilling stations and whatnot, and have people just go there. I think they would like it. And then you can let the Blue Hole kind of return to more of a natural state and be enjoyed by people that, want to see and hear more of the sounds of nature than, people splashing and jumping and recreating like they're at the town park.
Yeah. Screaming and playing music and stuff like that.
Yeah. So there's my grumpy old man.
No, man.
On the Blue Hole. So I'm finishing off this porter. I'm going to start to get angry and grumpy now.
I was there a month or a half back, and I had to pay to go there, which I don't mind. Helps out. It helps out. But there was 3 other cars after we finished there, so I was just like, it's kind of Tuesday. Why don't you offer a discount or something like that and get people in? But then I didn't mind the half a mile hike there and back. It wasn't bad, but just what I used to say to Bob when I hiked up with him, oh yeah, we used to park here. This used to be a solid nice endurance hike going up there. And now like nobody wants to visit here. Everybody wants to go over from the Denning side to get the more of that outdoor experience, to get that more of that secluded feeling, stuff like that. And he's just like, oh, then why did we go over here? I'm like, because it's a little bit easier. It's not a half an hour drive distance for me and half an hour or an hour extra for me, because going that Denning's, I'd have to say that's the most secluded trailhead in the Catskills.
The Denning side.
Yeah. It's either that or like the Beaverkill Balsam Lake area. It's just the middle of absolute nowhere.
Yeah, well, on the All Trails Challenge, you get to some places that are pretty desolate, but are they worth hiking from there if you're not doing the All Trails Challenge? I'm going to say no, you're not going there, unless it's just like down the road from where you are. But if you're not doing the All Trails Challenge and it's not down the road, there's a lot of places out there that you're just not going to go to start or end a hike. I will say, though, the hike down Peakamoose back to the road was probably more pleasant this time than I remember it. Other times that I've done it, the one thing is that trail is long, but it's gentle. It's not heavily eroded. It's not like there's a lot of exposed rocks and roots going down it. And I think the present state of the fall season just gave it a nice ambiance when I was hiking down. So
nice.
It was also brought back some memories of coming down that trail just in bitching winter conditions when it was just like fiercely windy, snow hitting you like it was little pellets of lead or something. I hiked down that trail in some pretty intense conditions. But the 6, it's one of my favorite hikes in the Catskills. Yeah. Whether I start at Denning, Moonhaw, Bread Hill, or
Breath Hill.
Breath Hill, yeah, that's right. Bread. A little hungry after dinner. Breath Hill. Yeah, I've hiked it from many approaches.
It's all good. It's all good. Good approach.
Or you can do the 7, bushwhack up to Cornell, and then do the remaining 6.
True.
So, and if you're at Cornell, you might as well head over to Wittenberg and make it the 8. So
yeah. Why the hell not?
Infinite combinations. Yeah, that whole area, though, when you, like, I can see why people do the 9 all the time. The 9's just a tad too long for me. But I can see why for some people that's like every month they're going to go out and do the 9. Speaking of going out and doing a hike, Stosh, do any hiking other than frisbee golf?
No. So this previous Sunday, I had to work with the men's social group. So we went to the Wolf Mountain Nature Center. I was kind of hoping Alex would be there, but he's up in what was that? Was not Wisconsin, Michigan? No. Was it Wisconsin?
Yeah, he was in Wisconsin.
So he's up there. So I reached out to him, but he's up in Wisconsin. Good to hear. But they had a little pumpkin fest to where they throw pumpkins over to the wolves, and they have like meat in them, and you get to check them out. So it's really cool to just go up there, and it fills my heart when I see these places have so many people up there, and that they're getting all this money for funding to help the wolves and stuff like that, that people are coming in, and that these volunteers are in there preaching about the wolves, preaching about, like, they're born in captivity, they have to stay in captivity. And, talking about them having the influence that they had with me and such. And, although we saw all the wolves, which was great, I kind of was just having my doubts that they wouldn't see them because, they'd be scared of all the people. But no, they were mostly all out because they were trying to just roam around looking for food. And it was great to see just people out, that they're getting a lot of, that help that they need, because, they're a 501c3, they need the funding, they need stuff like that. They're located in the absolute middle of nowhere. Smyrna, New York is in between Oneonta and Utica, which has like a population of like 8. So,
is that because the wolves ate them all?
Right. Yeah. Next door. Yep.
Gotcha, gotcha. So it's not really like beef that's in the pumpkins they throw at them.
Human remains.
Yeah, that's gross. But this is the haunted episode, so
Yes.
we can talk about weird stuff like that.
Fun fact, this is a cool thing, is I influence my store, the store that I work at, the Walmart store, to donate their used, like their bad meat to the Wolf Mountain Nature Center.
Wow.
So do you know how much? I couldn't even tell you how much we have to throw out in bad meat. Like,
is it like 50 pounds a day?
Way beyond that.
Wow.
Like, if anything's ripped open, we got to throw it out. If anything's out of date, we got to throw it out. Anything's brown, we got to throw it out. This all goes to the wolves. Freaking garbage pails.
Yeah, which is pretty cool on the one hand. On the other hand, it's sad because at the same time, you have homeless people dumpster diving for meals when that open, damaged, whatever stuff from Walmart could go to a food pantry.
True. Well, we do that. We do that with our bread. We do that with our broken can stuff like that. So, you know, like people might hate Walmart for their profit and stuff like that, but they do local good to the local areas. Like we donate a lot. So anyway, so today, Alex and I also, my friend and I went out to Burbine Forest and did some disc golf. Beautiful fall colors everywhere. Got freaking ticks on me, but it was one of those days that it's a little wet. There's mist, but it was just one of those enjoyable days that, you know, soon that we're going to have no leaves on the trees. In the Catskills, I guarantee there are no new leaves on the trees, very few. But up where I am, up north, we have a very little left. So
yeah. Well, down here in the Hudson Valley, it seems like fall is just starting. Up in the Catskills, it's, in my opinion, it's at least half over, at least in the mountains. It's, you know, beyond its peak. It seemed to kind of get off to a muted start in terms of the colors, and then bam, we're close to the end.
Correct. So crazy. So excellent.
Time to get your gear ready for the snow, because you're going to wake up one Saturday morning. It's going to have snowed out in the Catskills. And you'll be like, shit, my stuff's not ready to go. And then you're still going to go. And
yes,
won't be as fun.
Correct.
So check out the gear.
Yes, definitely. We'll chat about that in a second. Volunteer, New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, Catskill 3500 Club, Catskill Trail Crew, Catskill Mountains Club, Visitors Center, Jolly Rover Trail Crew. Check them out. Volunteer as much as you can. It helps as much as the Catskills as anything. Also, if you want free stickers, get a hold of me on any social media. I will send them to you for free. So let me know. Also, Catskill 3500 Club on 10/26 is doing the Adopt a Highway cleanup on Section 214 at the Devil's Tombstone Campground. Families are welcome to volunteer. Anybody's welcome to volunteer. Contact Lords Cernera to volunteer for this cleanup. Also, the day after this is going to be released. So Saturday, if you're not doing anything, you can go and volunteer with the 3500 Club to do the trail maintenance up on Peekamoose Mountain. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, volunteer. You can get Peekamoose done. You can do some volunteering with the Catskill 3500 Club. So also, the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference Trailathon is happening. You know, Catskill Mountain Bruce Scott is apparently doing this, and he needs some funding. So, Scott, stay tuned. Also, weather forecast. Let's get on to your weather forecast. So, once again, we are not a nightly podcast. We are weekly. So, we're recording Tuesday. Friday looks to be a great day in terms of clouds and sunny. It's supposed to be sunny, but in the morning it's supposed to be a 34 degrees high, but a low of 19. It's supposed to reach up to 43 degrees and a low of 28 with the wind chill. On Saturday, looks to be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, a high of 52, a low of 39 in the morning. And then Sunday, a little bit of rain in the afternoon and evening, around an inch or so later in the PM, and then to be a high of 52 with a low of 39 towards the nighttime. So once again, this brings out the thoughts of getting your gear. Throw your spikes in there. it could be that time of when you start hitting the higher elevations, of course, it'll get cold, it'll get ice, and then you have the consequence of injuring yourself if you fall on the ice and stuff like that. So, yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And don't forget to weatherproof your stuff. I use Nick Wax waterproofing for my boots, and their TX Direct product for waterproofing my hard shell. All this stuff is allegedly environmentally friendly, more so than the industrial quality products that they sell. And I've had no problem using theirs in prior years. So get your Nick Wax now, use it, be ready for winter.
Throw your spikes in your backpacks now, because get ready for winter. Throw your extra layers in your backpack now. Get ready for winter. Now's the time.
Yeah.
You never know. You never, ever know. All right, last set of sponsors, and then we'll get on to the spooky stuff. Nice. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your candy corn ready. It's kind of like Halloween. So.
Right. So discover Camp Catskill in Tannersville, your ultimate hiking store. Find top quality gear, apparel, and accessories for all your outdoor adventures. Our expert staff is to hear and help every hiker, from beginners to seasoned pros. We also carry unique Catskill souvenir gifts and more. Visit us online at campcatskill.co or in the store to gear up for your next journey. Adventure starts at Camp Catskill. Also embark on a transformative journey with Another Summit. Another Summit is dedicated to serving veterans and first responders with free outdoor activities. Activities like walks in nature, paddling, hiking, and even backpacking. Join our supportive community to rejuvenate in nature's embrace. Experience camaraderie, adventure, and healing at no cost. Take your next step with Another Summit and ascend to new heights of resilience and joy. Apply today at anothersummit.org. All right, so how about we go on to the topic of the night?
Let's go.
Dum dum dum. Spookiest places in the Catskills and a mystery of the Catskills. And this is all for good old Halloween that is happening. So,
yeah, an early trick or treat.
An early trick or treat that we got going on. And this is good stuff. You know, I have another place to add that I don't have it on this that we'll add in a second.
Oh boy. All right. Left field.
All right. Left field it goes. But one of the first places that I found to have some spooky hauntedness area is Mink Hollow of the Devil's Path. So a lot of the stuff that I've heard about as people staying at Mink Hollow, that it's the proximity, it's right next to Devil's Path, that you can camp and stuff like that, that it's a lean-to, it's been there around there a long time, is that I've heard it's been very, very spooky stories, very haunted. There's been a lot of weird stuff. One of the first things that I heard was that there was people staying there back in, I think it was like the 80s, the lady said, that there was owls hooting to each other, which I'm just like, okay, that's nothing new. But they were doing it in sync, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, constantly for over 15 minutes. So it was like a whoo, 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 whoo. So it was for 15 minutes. That's a little odd. That was the first one. So the second one I heard about was that two guys were staying there. It was an overnight. They were doing the Devil's Path. And that when they were there, they heard somebody chopping wood in the background. So they both woke up. They were like, okay, somebody's staying around here. They don't want to stay in a lean-to. They're chopping wood. So they go to investigate. They couldn't find anything. It sounded very close to the lean-to. So they searched all around, couldn't find anything. At the same time they were searching, the guy was still chopping wood. They could still hear it. They went back into the lean-to. They started a little bit bigger fire than they had before, and he was still chopping wood. So the guys at night could not sleep because this guy was chopping wood all night. You know, now, with Mink Hollow, you're not that too far away from the north of Mink Hollow, the north section. So it's like 0.75 miles from the trailhead.
Down to the Elka Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that far. But I don't think sound can travel that far to sound like it's like right next door.
Yeah. Well, I'd sort of agree with you on that. I just want to know where you're finding out this stuff.
Reddit.
Is it that strange guy with the white sheet over him that's standing in the corner of your room?
Do you see that guy?
You almost looked over your shoulder. You're like, huh? What? Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit? Oh, and do you consider Reddit a reliable source for paranormal activity?
I consider that better than Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
A little bit more reliable. I've heard, I don't recall a bunch of books, but a lot of books name Menkalo as kind of like a spooky area with I wouldn't say paranormal activity, but just unusual activity, kind of like, in the middle of the night when there's no wind, just a huge wind gust comes through there. I mean, it's kind of like a viaduct for wind going from north to south.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's no wind throughout the night and then just a simple gust happen through there, I would say that's pretty odd and such.
So you picked up these stories on Reddit, and I never thought that there was anything so spooky or haunted about Menkalo until I saw you put this in for the show. So then I started Googling, and I found one report that says that the dense forest here was believed to be the home of an escaped mental patient known as the Hermit of Menkalo. And when I read that, it occurred to me that way back when I was talking to Jim Bouton, he mentioned to me about the Hermit's Cave in that area. Have you ever heard of the Hermit's Cave in that area?
It's up on Plateau, right?
I wasn't going to say where it was. I mean, you're not supposed to give away these locations.
I mean,
but yeah. So is this what that they're referring to? That there's this escaped mental patient lived in a cave up on Plateau Mountain. Now, I wouldn't necessarily describe it as a cave, but I can see where they get that label for what's there. Have you been to it?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. I've been there several times. It's pretty interesting. It's obvious that somebody has lived there long, long ago. But apparently, yeah, Hermit's Cave. I'm going to in part say, based upon what Jim Bouton and a few others have told me since then about the Hermit's Cave and what I read, I don't think it was on Reddit, about an escaped mental patient having lived up there. I don't know if that makes it haunted. So I kept probing around, and another thing.
But still, like the now you say this, someone cutting wood.
You think it was the Hermit?
Makes sense.
It does, but how long ago was it that your story occurred?
It looked like it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, I think the Hermit was gone by then.
I don't know. It's haunted. It's got to be there forever.
Yeah. Well, until one of these paranormal specialists comes in and liberates
the new YouTube
ghost of the Hermit or whatever, and unshackles him. I think it's called an unbinding, as we'll hear about later on. Yeah, unbinds the ghost of the Hermit and lets him, go on to the afterlife and not have to stay in the hollow chopping wood to the sounds of synchronized owls.
I don't know, man. That sounds pretty legit to me. And then this is why I see sage burning in the background of Ted.
Yeah,
he's not believing, but he's got sage. The whole room is filled up with smoke, and I don't know if it's weed or if it's sage.
It's not real sage. It's not. Let me just put some of these piles out. I need to call the DEC. I have a forest fire in my studio. Okay, I'm vomiting violently. Is that what it is? They have to call the rescue. So then I saw on a blog called The Trek, where the author of that blog reports, rumor has it this place is haunted. and hikers often tell stories of mysterious lights in the night. Did you see any of that in your Reddit search stuff?
No, not a mysterious lights.
Huh.
I have a feeling one of those these mysterious lights are those people that are doing the fastest known time of the Devil's Path.
Yeah,
And they just fly through there.
Yeah. Could be Kim coming through. Right. The shy ahead of her with the camera lights on her doing another documentary. Now, Todd Rundgren. Do you know who Todd Rundgren is?
You told me about this and I looked it up. I have no clue who this guy is.
Oh yeah, he's like a rocker from the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had some popular, Billboard music hits. And so he did an album called Hermit of Mink Hollow. It's apparently one of his more successful albums. It was recorded in Bearsville. And I started scratching my head because I don't often associate Mink Hollow with Woodstock and Bearsville.
Sure.
Because most often we come in Mink Hollow from the north. But yeah, I've hiked up through there from the south, from Bearsville. It's a pretty interesting area to hike up through. But apparently Todd Rundgren was impressed by this and must have heard of the Hermit of Mink Hollow. I don't know if he heard the owls, the chopping wood, or saw the lights, but he was impressed enough to title an album after it. So next time you hike through Mink Hollow and you've got your headphones or ear pods with you, crank up some Todd Rundgren.
Yeah.
And chop wood.
I can see this, once again, being the close proximity to Devil's Path, to be the V shape that it's in with the call of both sides, the steep edges of Sugarloaf and Plateau. Once again, like you said, there's lights coming in. There could be people doing Devil Known Path, and they're flying down Sugarloaf and going up Plateau. Like, oh, what was that? Oh, it's another fastest known time hiker.
Yeah. All I can say, listeners, the content's going to get better.
Oh yeah, it will. Not with my stuff.
We got some better stories ahead. Stay tuned.
I got some weird stuff. I mean, of course, the Stopple Point plane crash is a little spooky because you can get inside. You can sit inside the whole thing. But I have heard, and once again,
have you ever done that? You've been to a lot of plane crashes. Have you ever sat inside any of these planes?
I've never.
Why not?
It's just that's a little odd, and that's a little disrespectful.
Yeah,
I think.
What about the shoe at Double Top? There's the black shoe. Have you ever seen the shoe?
To be honest, yes, I have.
And would you touch it? Did you touch it?
Not at all. Not at all. My friend was up with me, John. My friend John, he's a pastor, and he actually saw the shoe and he started saying a prayer for it at the time because he was just like, "This is a little screwed up. Yeah. Let me get the good side of God on this because that was a little messed up."
What about the plane wreck? It was the family of 4 heading to Vermont skiing from Virginia. Yeah, with the skis and all the kids stuff, the little kids, children's things around it.
I'm pretty sure that's the only hike I've been on where everybody's been silent for 5 minutes and just walks off in the same direction.
Yeah, that's pretty humbling and solemn to go there.
Any plane crash is just one of those areas of kind of like you just want to pay your respects and such. With Stopple Point being such a popular area, I've heard a little bit of just people being in the seat and something kind of jolts suddenly, and they like get out of the seat and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh my God, what was that?" Or something in the plane like moves or something like that, but nothing like too crazy, like we have over on the Mink Hollow lean-to and stuff. But any of the plane crashes just gives me that kind of spooky vibe of just, damn, I'm glad to be alive and I didn't have to suffer this. And, even if the pilot survived, just what they had to go through just to to get out of there. It's just
Yeah.
insane.
So what's the spookiest plane wreck in the Catskills?
Definitely that the bear or the boot.
Hmm.
Where do you want to call that? Unknown place. How about we call it that? I mean, it's known by us, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to say anybody.
Yeah.
Tell anybody. Did you already say it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
So that area,
You'll have to rewind if you want to remember or learn where it is. Kind of.
that area, kind of, because we found that first, was kind of a little fucked up. Gave me a little unconditional vibes, and just one of those.
Yeah.
And plus, the day wasn't that great of a day, so it was kind of like a misty day. So it kind of had that vibe. And there, once again, I visited over 20 something plane crashes. And
so have you ever thought about buying one of these little instruments or devices that is advertised as detecting paranormal activity
no,
with a meter on it? You don't believe in something like that would measure the supernatural, unnatural, paranormal vibe at a location or at an object?
that's a lot of money.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna look and see how much one of them costs. I bet you can buy them really, really cheap.
But what about you? What do you feel when you see some of these?
Well, I think it's pretty sad, especially when children are involved. Like that fellow last year who was transporting the rescue dogs to Albany. Yes, that's sad, but he was also, the old cliche, he was doing what he loved. So in part, I guess that's better than dying on your way to, work. And you got to die at some point in time. So if you're going to die young, die doing something you enjoy doing. But yeah, I was really impacted by the one on Westkill with the young children involved, and pretty much the same thing on, what's the name of the mountains? This is my age. Just south of Table.
Van Wyck,
where that accident is. Same thing, family going skiing and their plane crashed. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Sad. All right, you want to move on to the next topic?
Yeah. So one of the ones that I have, I've heard different stories about different feelings is the ancient cairns located up on Overlook, Hawkett, Ashokan Point, Westkill, somewhat Southwest Hunter, stuff like that. Is that we don't know. We had I've had him on a while back, talked about these being navigational cairns, but with this, a lot of people think that they might be, burial grounds for the Native Americans that have been roaming the area and then pushed out of the air with the Hardenberg patent. So we don't know. So if you don't know where this is, when you go up Hawkett, you look to your right when you're following the herd path. There's some cairns up there, some pretty big cairns, probably chest height, all over the place. Ashokan High Point, you definitely got to search for those when you're up on that area. There's definitely some thing. Overlook, got to search for those as well. But there's some massive cairns, probably around 5 to 6 feet tall. Once again, I talked to one. I've
got his book someplace around here.
Kreisberg, is it?
Yeah, I mean that's Gary Kreisberg. Was that it?
Was that it? That might have been it.
Yeah.
He chatted about it, and a lot of people think that they were navigational cairns, so they were pointing to water, they were pointing to stuff. But a lot of people have beliefs that these are burial grounds, ancient burial grounds for the Native Americans that were I wouldn't say, how do I say, high in class chiefs, stuff like that. That these were massive burial grounds for them, and that they hold kind of an omniscience around them that hold that kind of Native American vibe but we haven't had, I would think that if it held that true spirit, there would be Native Americans up there doing their rituals, at summer solstice, winter solstice, stuff like that, giving off those vibes that they gave off, that people say they gave off. But once again, who knows? There's been back and forth conversation about this. They happen all the way. People say that they're down in Long Island, and they go all the way up here. I found even some up on, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Bramley Mountain is just for stones that the farmers put there, but there's a lot of confrontation about this.
Mhm.
Are they put up by Native Americans? Were they put up by farmers? Stuff like that. So it's big thing. Like, stone walls were built 70 years ago and are falling apart, but these Native American cairns are there for over 1,000 years and they're still up. It's a little odd, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was Glenn
Glenn.
Freisberg, and he talks about this being the Manitou line, which reflects the path the sun takes on the summer solstice, and that these cairns, these rock cairns, if he's correct, are stacked along that trajectory, or the line of the sun follows on the summer solstice. And so one summer indeed, with my compass in hand, over the course of a few weeks, not just on the solstice, I tried to find as many as I could along that line, and I did find quite a few to the east of Ashoka High Point and to the west of Halkett, all generally along that line. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
So there's a lot of, theories, of course, that we know. We code summer solstice. What does that mean? Like, is this supposed to stop cropping, stuff like that? Or are we supposed to, celebrate the winter months coming on, the summer months coming on, stuff like that? What did they celebrate? Like, and it's a big question, like, once again, I hiked with Ralph Rydek, awesome Catskill legend. And that's when we hiked up Ashokan High Point. He brought up that fact. He's just like, if these ancient cairns have been over here 1,000 years, why to this stone wall that has been here for 70 years decaying, it's fallen apart and stuff like that? It doesn't make sense. And put a big question in my mind. So it's
certainly interesting. And sometimes I'm fascinated. Like we talked about Breath Hill. I ran into a lot of them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Between the road, Breath Hill, and Balsam Cap. One October when I was out hiking that area.
That sounds like the pathway to Ashokan High Point. So,
yeah. I mean, get your map out. I forget what the compass bearing is. I had it written down, back then. And whenever you come across one of these, take a bearing from it and walk along that line, and you'll start to see other ones. It's pretty interesting. The ones I found in that area weren't quite as tall, but they were obviously stacked stones, usually on top of like a boulder. Somebody will start stacking these rocks,
right? Yep.
On top of them. And I didn't find any that were taller than, I'm going to say, 3 to 4 feet.
Okay. So what is your thought on this topic? Like,
my thought on this topic is, way back when farm boys who got in trouble were told to go up in the woods and make a pile of stones.
Right? I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. And surely there's, with all the instrumentation that we have today, there's some way of dating, when is the last time the inside of the stone stack has been exposed to daylight based upon what's growing in there or something, just like Mike Kudish does his bog cores.
Right.
I'm sure somebody can do that with these rocks and, give some level of dating to it. But I think it's just interesting that, I've been all over the Catskills, and you find a concentration of these stacks along that Manitou line, which they say extends from Long Island. They track these stone stacks. There's some in the Schwangunks right behind.
Up in Vermont. I've heard this goes up to Vermont.
Yeah. Well,
So-
but that might be north of the the line the sun follows. I forget what they call that. Shame on me for not doing my research.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're real. We're real. All right.
Yeah, I focused on this other thing, which
Yeah.
was
Do you
of
want to take
interest to
this
me.
over, buddy?
Oh, I
You're
don't
the-
know. I don't want to take anything over. I certainly don't want to take credit for or validate the story of the Catskill Crone. So I'm going to start with a question. Before I brought this up, have you ever heard of this?
No.
Yeah. So I somehow stumbled on the story of the Catskill Crone a couple years ago. And we'll get into the story shortly. But one of the things that I found interesting is the amount of interest the paranormal community has in the Catskill Crone. And so you're listening to our little podcast talk about the Catskill Crone. But after you're done listening to our podcast and give us a 5-star rating and buy us 100 ciders, go to whatever provider you get your podcasts from and search for the Catskill Crone and see how many other podcasts feature the Catskill Crone. There's quite a few, and some of them they'll show you the listener count. And I found one that had like 4,200 listens or downloads. Yeah, there's a ton on YouTube about this. So it is pretty well known in the paranormal community. And whether it's, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people have listened to these, or maybe hundreds of thousands of people have listened to the story of the Catskill Crone. The story begins when where all too many internet legends do, with a series of posts on a paranormal subreddit forum by an anonymous user in January 2016. So according to the post, which I've read and Stash has read, two hikers, and this is paraphrased from the post itself. So folks who know Catskill hiking well, listen closely to see if you can figure out where the anonymous user is telling us that the Catskill Crone was found. Two hikers exploring deep in the Catskills in the sundown wild forest area stumbled onto something strange inside a small cave located off trail. It was a crudely carved wooden figure with rusty nails hammered into its eyes, a rope tied around its neck, and an unsettling energy about it. One of the hikers decided to take it home, and that's when the weirdness began. So, Stash, I ask you, where is it from that paragraph do you think they were when they found it?
So when you first showed me this, I thought like long and hard. I was just like, well, two hikers exploring deep in the Catskills. I think that's a little exaggeration, because unless they didn't know what they were doing, I would think if they knew what they were doing, they would be up, of course, or towards the kind of Balsam Clap Friday area, because that's where it's like dark and majestic and stuff like that. But
Is that
then
in the sundown wild forest?
no, that's the thing. But the sundown wild forest, I would think they would be up that what's that one creek that leads into the Rondout Creek? Bear Spring?
Bearhole Brook?
Bearhole Brook. That's where I can see them being.
That's one of the areas I thought. But then I thought, based upon this, they were on the trail to Ashokan High Point. And along that trail, there is a marked shelter.
A marked what?
Shelter. An old
Shelter.
an Indian shelter that's actually been the subject of a formal archaeological dig.
Wow. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's where, based upon this description, I thought they were. All right, so let's continue the story. I left off by saying, and that's where the weirdness began. The other hiker, using a throwaway account, posts about this on Reddit. Now, Stosh, do you know what a throwaway account is?
Probably an account that doesn't like exist after like a couple years or something.
Yeah, I take it to be like a burner phone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Almost immediately, odd things started happening around the house of the hiker who took the crone home with him. The statue seemed to move from room to room, pounding on the walls and doors. The smell of stagnant pond water hung in the air. Muddy footprints appeared on the floor, and even the dog refused to go near it. The hikers eventually reached out to paranormal investigators Greg and Dana Newkirk, who carefully took the statue into their care. They called it the Crone of the Catskills, a name fitting for a figure that seemed to carry more than just wooden nails. Now that's, Stosh, this is something that you dug up. Where did you dig this little passage up? Do you remember?
I just kind of like came up with it with all my research on it.
Okay.
The one point that you forgot to give out that was actually really pretty crazy was that at one point when they brought it home, a crucifix fell off the wall by itself multiple times.
Yeah. I thought that happened in the Newkirk's house.
I heard that this was also on the Reddit thing that happened in their house as well. Yeah. So it's two.
Yeah. So we have two hikers. One of them takes the Catskill Crone home with him. Weird things start happening around his home. And the other guy, using a throwaway Reddit account, is posting about it on this Reddit paranormal subthread. And I'm assuming Stosh is going to put a link to it in the show notes because, because some of these people that post comments are like, like Stosh and I with sarcastic comments. And then there's other people who are like serious about what you do when you take home some object that's possessed and you want to get rid of it. There's certain things you should do and certain things that you shouldn't do.
Oh, 95% of the people said, why the hell did you touch it?
Yeah. And then there's a lot of like other things that, people say about, what you do when you have something paranormal in your possession.
To be honest, Tad, with the way that it looked, on this Reddit thing, it is pretty freaky. It's about the size of a hand and it does have little nails, 4 nails in each of its eyes. It's hung by a rope. It's made of wood.
Yeah, the rope is tied and is a noose around its neck.
Yeah,
it's dark wood. So we have photos. You can post photos of this.
Correct.
For people. Yeah,
ooh,
yeah,
nice.
So it looks legit. All right. So now the anonymous hiker on Reddit continues his post by saying, "Sorry, I haven't posted. Things got worse yesterday." This is after a bunch of comments have already come in. Things got worse yesterday night. So we sent the statue to the guy in the comments today. That's Newkirk. So far, so good. Thanks, everyone who actually tried to help and just didn't call us a couple of fucking idiots. Right? So Newkirk, he and his wife, I believe, live in the Chicago area, or at least that's where they were living in the time, is in or around Chicago. He posts on this Reddit sub post regarding what is to become named the Catskill Crone. He says, "Hey, wicked hiker, if you're too nervous to take it back to where you found it," which is completely understandable, "I'd be happy to handle it for you. I see someone mention my email in the thread, but if you want to remain anonymous, just PM me and I'll give you an address." So the fellow who took it home with him starts staying at the other fellow's house because he's too freaked out to stay at his apartment with the crone. Things were happening like he would come home or wake up and he would find the crone in a different room from where he left it. The smell of stagnant pond water intensified. There's the muddy footprints. There's a mysterious crack in the wall in an area where the crone is found beneath the crack. And then when he and his pal return one day to grab the crone to mail it to Newkirk, while they're getting ready to package up the crone, a naked lady with dripping water appears. Josh is nodding his head. Yeah, that happens around here in Oneonta all the time. So the guys send it to Newkirk instead of taking it back to the Catskills where they claim they found it. The story grows from there. Dozens of podcasts, YouTube videos, all of which inspired countless theories, and even a documentary called The Unbinding, where the Newkirks tried to uncover the origins of the eerie artifact. Was it a witch, a witch's warning, a curse, or just a piece of local folklore that took on a life of its own? No one really knows. But the legend of the Catskill Crone still lingers in the woods, waiting for the next curious hiker to find her. Okay, so what's in a name? This guy Newkirk picks out the name. So in witchcraft, the crone represents the archetypical wise old woman embodying wisdom, experience, and the completion of life's cycles. And I'd be impressed if any of our listeners already knew that on their own. We want to know who you are and how many candles do you burn at night when you hang out. Okay. So the crone is the third aspect of the triple goddess following the maiden and the mother. And it is associated with the dark of the moon, winter endings, and transformation. The crone symbolizes the ability to turn life struggles into wisdom, offering guidance, foresight, and a connection to the more intuitive and magical aspects of the self. So again, the crone, that's the name Newkirk picks out for it. So, Stosh, do you think, so eventually you watch the documentary, The Unbinding, and it leads up to, actually, I'm going to move this question down, if you don't mind. Okay. So we'll go to, hold it.
Wait for it.
Okay. So, in the, Stosh, did you watch the documentary?
I did not. I didn't have the time.
So
you did?
I would almost be embarrassed to admit, particularly if I wasn't doing the podcast, that I watched.
I was going to say, the Rotten Tomatoes, of previews and stuff like that. Like the people said, it was just a little out of control. Yeah,
there was the reviews of it were pretty interesting. I think I cover some of them down here later on, but I had to last night after my wife went to bed. I paid like $3 and change. Yeah. And I watched.
Fuckers didn't contact me back, assholes.
Yeah. And then, so now my algorithm for, Amazon Prime is going to be I'm going to be like getting delivered to the house, like all this paranormal stuff, Amazon Prime. So you watch the documentary and they somewhat reenact and give all of these different accounts of their experience when they had the Newkirk's experience with the crone, when they had the crone with them. So I pull out a few of these just to discuss. And so here is the first account that the Newkirks portray in the documentary after they get the crone. They were comfortably seated on the couch in their living room, enjoying movie night, when, out of nowhere, they heard a commotion coming from the upstairs office. Greg Newkirk paused the movie and thought their two cats must have been playing. So he went to explore, and upon opening the office door, he discovered a plastic figurine of none other than Jesus Christ lying broken on the floor of his office. It had been on a crucifix that he kept on the office, nailed to a wall. As he turned it over in his hands, Greg found that the figurine was missing one of its arms, and that its remaining appendages no longer bore the small nails that had held it to the cross. He looked up to where the crucifix was hanging on the wall, and of course, he found the statue's missing limbs still nailed to the cross. But the nails, on the other hand, were disappeared entirely. Yes, you heard that right. Something had pried the figurine, Jesus, from the crucifix, but Greg felt that this was not possible without pulling the entire cross off the wall. Greg then sees the crone under the crucifix, which is not where he had left him when he was last in the office. The supposition is, according to Newkirk, that the crone pulled Jesus from the cross, breaking off one of his arms in the process. Stosh has got his finger up to his brow. He's looking intently on. So I'm going to ask him, what's wrong with this account? What facts don't seem to fit together? Investigator Russin.
Well, being a good, honest Christian that I am, not really, being a Christian family isn't like Jesus only like put up on your wall with like one thing above his head that hangs him up. So he's not hammered both sides that with his arms on.
His arms are outstretched.
Yes.
He has nails, a nail through each palm.
Mm-hmm. So
and then his legs at the ankles are bound and tied to the cross.
Correct.
With his chest leaning out to kind of suffocate him over time.
But then
Newkirk describes that Jesus's body, 2 legs and 1 arm, are found on the floor intact, and then one of the arms is broken off and still nailed to the cross.
That's the point, is that Jesus usually, when you put him on the wall, is up on one thing up above his head. Like he's hanged up there or on his back where you hang him. It's not you don't freaking bolt him up there like he was on the freaking cross.
Well, no, but that's how he was. He was nailed to this cross. That's what the crucifix is. But what I don't believe is if you're this paranormal crone, why do you have to break Jesus to get him off the cross?
True.
You're not like physically contacting him. The crone doesn't have arms, tangible arms, to pull Jesus off the cross. He uses some type of energy or energy force, right? So why does Jesus get broken into 2 pieces, getting pulled off?
Why is Newkirk, point?
Yeah, and why is Newkirk, who's allegedly a paranormal specialist, perplexed by this and think that this is some mystery? If the crone has this paranormal power, it doesn't have to bust up Jesus's body as I would or you would pulling him off the cross. So the fact that Newkirk makes a big deal out of this, to me, makes the story sound phony.
A little bit far-fetched.
Yeah. All right. So here's another account from the unbinding. A few weeks later, Dana Newkirk, Greg's wife, made another strange discovery. Only this time, the activity extended beyond the confines of their office. Dana had been in the living room when she found a large, wet footprint on the back of the couch. Perplexed, she called out to Greg, asking why on earth had he stepped on the couch. Well, still wet after showering, to change a light bulb. Greg came downstairs, just as confused as Dana was, because he hadn't stood on the back of the couch at any point in his recent memory, and for that matter, he hadn't showered since that morning. Okay, so just to recast this little segment, Dana, the wife, comes out into the living room. She sees a wet footprint on the back of the couch. She thinks it's from Greg, having stood on the back of the couch while wet from taking a shower to change a light bulb, presumably in a light socket on the ceiling. Stosh, what the fuck is wrong with this story?
The woman chasing the light bulb.
Well, no, she thinks the husband did it while he's wet from taking it. Who the fuck? After you take a shower, don't you dry off? I do.
I mean, I run out totally around the house 3 times just to get the paranormal activity out of there naked.
Yeah. Do you really run around your house wet after a shower? And then while wet after showering, do you stand on the couch while still wet and change a light bulb?
Yeah.
Your wife doesn't know anything about this? I mean, in my house, our house isn't really, really large and it's not really small, but when my wife is in the shower, I know she's in the shower. If I'm in the kitchen, okay, I can hear her in the shower.
True.
She doesn't know that he hasn't showered since the morning. I mean, it's just the whole story seems not well constructed.
Correct.
That's my take on it.
I think that had nothing to do with the Catskill Crone, but
yeah, maybe it was one of their other paranormal things, because the Newkirks, they have like this traveling road show.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
Yeah, of these paranormal things. It's interesting that this is how they make their living. Apparently, one of the things they have is like a paid membership museum to get information about paranormal stuff from them. So, all right.
Why would you want to pay for that stuff? Sometimes I don't understand why people pay other people to be like, hey, let me tell you a secret, but you got to pay for it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, some people are really, really, into studying the paranormal, believing in the paranormal, buying stuff to assist them in studying and analyzing paranormal activity. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I just think that a lot of stuff that people think is possessing paranormal powers probably doesn't. So let's go to the next account that I pulled out of the documentary that I watched last night called The Unbinding. So the Newkirks take the Crone to a paranormal conference. I think they described it as the largest or one of the largest in the country. So with the Crone secured in a box, they go to this paranormal conference. They set up their booth, and a fellow comes over who knows of the Crone, and he wants to see it. So Greg takes it out of the box. And in the documentary, he says immediately, you feel the energy in the place change. A woman nearby has a soda. It explodes. Another guy down the hall has a seizure and starts bleeding from his neck. And they show in the documentary this guy with like blood on his neck. So Greg puts the Crone away. What do you think, Stosh? True? Did that really happen?
Not at all.
Why don't you? They showed a guy in the documentary with blood coming out of his fucking neck, and they say it's when the Crone got pulled out of the box. What do you think caused that?
Nothing. Based on a true story is what they freaking say, and then they exploit it like crazy.
So what I wondered, you're at this paranormal conference, presumably surrounded by people who believe this, that, and the other thing is possessed.
I see what you're saying.
Haunted, right? Why is it for the documentary they couldn't interview the guy who had the seizure and started bleeding from the neck?
Did he die?
No, they don't say he died. Right?
So my take on
the guy's still alive. Yeah, why don't they have him?
So my take on that is that they kind of like, it is true, because some person at the paranormal event did do that to fake it, to be like, oh, a movie, let me fake it. And then they're like, oh, we could use this.
They weren't filming at the time. They did the documentary. That my take is the documentary, they were reenacting what happened at the conference.
Well, yeah, somebody did that fake at the conference, and they're like, let's use this in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the same thing with the soda explosion. Somebody probably did a demonstration on that, and they're like, ooh, we have the Crone out here. Let's have the soda explode in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I found the fact that if you, up until this point, if you were kind of believing that the Crone was some paranormal effigy, figurine, statue, possessed object. And then they give this account at the paranormal conference. But the seizure guy with the bleeding neck, or the woman with the exploding soda, or even the guy that came up and asked them to see it, who saw this other stuff go down, the fact that none of them were interviewed is telling that didn't happen. And
Correct.
All of this is a crock of shit. And so people who, and that's my opinion, Newkirks, if you want to sue us, I'm not saying as a matter of fact, it's just my opinion. Speculating just as you speculate. Okay, don't sue us. We're not insured. We're doing this for free. So at any rate, I read some of the reviews. One person said, I thought it was a mockumentary. Right? Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
The filming was good. The scripting and all of that was good. It was so good that quite a few people were saying that mockumentary. But a lot of the reviews were negative, expressing disbelief, more so than what you saw in the Reddit post with people giving like these, this is how you get rid of the supernatural around your house. Okay. So at the end of the documentary, the Newkirks want to return the crone to where it was found. They go to the Catskills. They go to Ellenville. They spend the night in Ellenville with the crone. They make all of these interesting discoveries that day and that night about the crone, about the area. They're connecting all these dots, but they're still gung-ho on this mission the next day to get up and to go hiking into the mountain where the crone was found and return it. So it shows them pulling into a parking lot, a paved parking lot with like bumpers, picnic tables, buildings around it. Where does that parking lot exist in the Catskills?
Ikamoose? Now, not freaking 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, this was in 2018. The parking lot they were in was paved.
Oh yeah, nowhere.
With parking stripes on it for cars, bumper stops, picnic tables around it.
Ashokan freaking rail trail. That's about the only place I can think of.
Well, they do some like drone shots, and the parking lot is right next to a little community. And as they're panning away, showing the parking lot in the little community, I recognize the Sunray water plant. I knew the parking lot when they showed it. I had an idea what it was, but when then they showed this old building, the Sunray water plant, and if Steve Aaron's listening, he knows exactly where this is. Okay. It's the Berm Road, BERM Road Park in Ellenville. It's where the Smiley carriageway into the Schwangunk Ridge ends. And so the Newkirks thought they were in the fucking Catskills, and they weren't.
Catskills.
Right? Yeah, they were in the gunks, right? And they walk up what I assumed to be the Smiley carriageway. I don't know how far they went up, but you could see like the needles from pitch pine trees.
Nice.
Okay, which I don't think there's any pitch pines in the Sundown Forest. I haven't covered every inch of it, but I don't think there's any pitch pine trees. So one of the things I'm thinking as I'm watching this is all these thousands of people that watched all this stuff, listened to these podcasts, these things on YouTube, probably very few of them are Catskill hikers.
Right. Yeah.
That would have seen the disconnect. And probably even fewer were familiar with Ellenville, Berm Road, pitch pine trees, the Smiley carriageway, yada, yada, yada. So at any rate, the documentary shows the two Newkirks and this other guy who is going to make like a 3D rendering or whatever of the crone with them. And they go up to this area and they put sage down and rock salt, and they start doing this thing with whatever to release it of its energy unbind it by pulling out the nails, taking off the noose, and they have this little grave that they dig and they put it in the grave and they put the dirt back and they put stones on top of it, thinking that they've returned the crone to the sundown wild forest in the Catskills, where it was found by the two hikers who, interestingly, are not also interviewed in the documentary.
True.
So, Stosh, two questions or two things. Number one, do you think the Newkirks are full of nettle juice?
Absolutely.
No doubt in your mind?
No doubt.
Do you think they made up this whole story going right back to the fake Reddit throwaway account?
I don't think about the fake Reddit throwing account. That was actually a pretty interesting read.
Yeah, but do you think it was really two guys found this, whether it was in the Catskills or in the Gunks, and sent it to the Newkirks? Or do you think the Newkirks from the outset started out with a burner Reddit account, made some fake thing that they claim was sent to them, but they had all along? Just your opinion. I'm not asking for like a fact. We're not saying all of it was fabricated. Interesting supposition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
Now you want to hear the most interesting fucking thing that happened?
What's
the most
that?
interesting thing. Remember, like the first night that they had it, they're down watching the TV. They hear their cats go berserk upstairs. And he goes look for it, and he finds Jesus lying on the floor, missing an arm. Remember that? So I'm watching this thing last night, that episode, that segment. Next thing I know, our three cats just start going crazy, chasing each other around. I mean, two of our cats are like 14, 15 years old. They barely move all day. They're running up and down. So there's like so much activity with the cats running around and screaming that my wife gets out and comes out. She wants to know what the fuck is going on? What's wrong with the cats? Why is it that my cats, while I'm watching this documentary, freaked out? Is it because I found the crone in 2019?
Yes, definitely.
You'll have to listen to our next episode. In the meantime, buy us hard ciders. So,
correct.
no, but my cats really did that last night. It was weird.
Interesting. You're not fucking with me, right?
No. I mean, that really happened. I can show you my notes. It's in my notes somewhere. I think they're right next to my busted up Jesus figurine. Let me grab them.
So one of the things that you chat about, based on the Reddit account, I found out a lot of people said, why would you touch it? Why would you bring it with you? Why would you do this and that? To be honest, if I saw that kind of stuff in the Catskills where it was, how small it was, I would probably leave it alone. I'd be like, screw this, based on, being down in, Jamaica and stuff like that a couple times and seeing voodoo shit. I wouldn't touch that.
So you have enough of a belief in the paranormal that you wouldn't want to fuck with that when you saw it. Okay.
Something that weird, if they were based on an area in the sundown wild forest, if this was 3 miles off trail on a place that nobody would freaking know, like this was just out of the middle of freaking nowhere, like you and I would explore or something like that, yes, that would freak me the fuck out. Something off of the Blue Hole, I'd be like, I'd light that thing on fire right away and just like, listen, leave no trace. All right, this is how we do things. Something, like I was saying, in the middle of nowhere when we're hiking Balsam Cap or something like that, I would have second thoughts of being like, nope, I'm not going to deal with this shit today.
What if you came up on a plane wreck and saw one inside one of these old planes?
I still wouldn't. That would be no.
Yeah.
Especially if it was over on north-south, like maybe that would be a little, I'd be like, these idiots. But.
So we have from our research department, we've come up with a list of the top 5 suggestions we have based upon what we saw on Reddit and what our researchers came up with What should you do if you find the crone in the Catskills or something like it? So number 5 from the Newkirks, you should just be smart, chill out, and think happy thoughts. That's what he wrote on Reddit. You
Nice.
should
That's
just be
great
smart,
advice.
chill out, and think happy thoughts. Number
This is-
4, the most common suggestion seemed to be that if you take it with you, then return it to where you found it and bring an offering to leave there. Maybe smoke some tobacco or weed when you return it. What do you think, Stosh? You think that's a good suggestion?
I would say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Voodoo senses, Jabu, stuff like that. Yes.
Okay. It sounds like you've done a little research on your own on returning, paranormal artifacts.
The movie Major League. That's where I got it from.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I'm familiar with that. Major League. Oh, I think I remember that.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. So one commentator suggested if you bring it home, take it out and throw it in a body of water, an ocean, a lake, river, pond. That'll bind it. And then get some sage and some St. Michael medals and do a smudging in your home, repeating St. Michael's prayer. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I don't even know what St. Michael's prayer is. I guess I got to look that up. Another suggestion was if you bring it home, return it with an offering and then cleanse your house again by smudging sage and lining your windowsills and doorways with a line of salt.
Interesting.
Yep. And then our top suggestion, if you find in your travels in the Catskills or elsewhere a interesting object that you suspect has paranormal properties, our experts recommend not to move it. Leave it where it is. Take some photos, but don't post the photos. Instead, send the photos and the coordinates where you found it to Stosh for a search and rescue. That's our top suggestion.
I agree. 100%. And then we'll investigate it and then we'll do a mockumentary on it.
Yeah. We'll go to the paranormal conferences. We'll have people with bleeding necks and exploding sodas, the whole 9 yards.
So your take of the Catskill Crone.
I thought it was an interesting story in large part because of all the attention it got from people that are into this and from people who aren't. It just seemed to be a big diversion over quite an extended period of time. I don't know what they spent on the documentary, but it, in my opinion, was well done. But it does come across as a mockumentary. It's just cheesy. And when you look at some of the things they portray and depict, they don't make sense, particularly when they amp them up to be evidence of paranormal activity. And then, of course, my cats made it interesting by freaking out for a few minutes. But at the end, when they're saying that they're going to return it to the Catskills from where it was taken, and they're hiking up into the Schwangunk Ridge.
Right.
It's like, okay, you made the mistake that and this is what these people are supposed to do for a living is research like on paranormal stuff, Mm-hmm. So if that's what your research skills took you to, is the Sundown Wild Forest in the Catskills is really off of Berm Road. And I also point out that right behind the Sunray water plant, he was one of the first water bottling plants in the country. Right behind the Sunray water plant is a cave. Yeah. It's a very wet cave because it's where the water came from that they put into bottles. And it might explain the wet naked lady, the wet footprint.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So crazy.
So there you go. The story of the Catskill Crone.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tad, for all that research and information. It's crazy stuff. So, Tad, give me 1 second. Something's going on in the background. Dahlia's puking. Sorry. Give me 1 sec. Weird as fuck. Did you see me going like this?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was hearing her like, what? And then I hear her start puking, and I like ran outside. Sorry, that was weird.
It's the crone.
It's Crone. No shit.
It is. No, my cats went crazy last night, and I think you need to make this part of the recording that your dog just started throwing up explainably. And then, is it true that she puked out one of Jesus's arms?
It was his nails. It was his nails. So yeah. So my take on this, I believed it with the Reddit thing. I kind of was like into it. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Where is it? Stuff like that. But then with the documentary and stuff like that, I didn't watch it, but I did watch the previews and stuff. I was like, okay, they're just looking for money. And then with their websites and their podcast, it's all a bunch of fucking BS.
Yeah. Well, I go beyond you. My take is that, in my opinion, because I don't want to get sued, in my opinion, the Newkirks cooked this whole thing up from the beginning. There was no crone found in the Catskills that was mailed to them. They made this. They made up the whole story. And the fact that if they were sincere on returning this, they felt that to put closure to this, to free this statue or figure from some spiritual energy and unbind it from it, that they needed to return it to the place that it came from. They really did a half-assed job. If it was found in the Catskills in the Sundown Wild Forest and they took it up Berm Road, they don't know east from west.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm suing anybody who paid to watch the documentary who wants to get their money back. Our lawyers, Dewey, Hikemore, and Howe, starting a class action lawsuit.
Well, good luck. All right. So there goes the spooky stories and the Catskill mysteries. We'll probably have some more unfold sometimes where we talk to Jim Boughton and Ralph Reindeck and stuff like that. More.
Yeah, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, definitely. It's Schneider's, especially the spookiest place.
Yes.
So, post hike brews and bites. Did you go anywhere, Ted, after your Catskill 6?
After my Catskill 6, I came straight home.
Okay.
And had pizza, takeout pizza. Wasn't that great.
Not even Stewart's?
No. We got done so late. It was a long day, and it would have been fun to do something, but it was so late. I had to get home and drink a cold one and have a slice or two.
Nice. Sounds good. So, all right. Well, thank you to the monthly supporters and the monthly sponsors to the show. Really appreciate you guys putting in the show. Thank you to everyone who is still listening to the show. Once again, Tad and I are in it at 192 episodes talking about spookiest places in the Catskills and mysteries of the Catskills, the Catskill Crone. All right. So have a good night, Tad.
You as well.
And we'll catch you up next week with Eric Schlimmer talking about his crazy hikes of the Catskills. This guy's an insane guy. So have a good night.
You too, bud.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you for listening to the show. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe and throw down a smooth review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any podcast platform that you use. You can also check daily updates of the podcast, hikes, hiking news, and local news on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the official website of the show. Remember this, you gotta just keep on living in the Catskills, man. Livin.
Wicked.